Hi everybody, my name is Lucas Teixeira, and I will be at the University of Orléans in April. So I'll try to speak about my thesis here without having started, so you can correct me. Okay? First of all, I'll speak about me a little bit, my previous experiences and the thesis itself. So my name is Lucas Teixeira, I'm 28 years old. I'm Brazilian, just recently married because of ATHOR.
Thanks for us. We will see the future. What is the next step?
Like Robert, I also like hiking and football, so we can make a team. And that's me in a hiking.
Where is the monkey?
Sorry?
The monkey?
Oh no monkeys in the picture. I will bring a monkey with me to Europe. And my working experience, I've been in Magnesita, former Magnesita, for the last 6 years actually. So I know a little bit about this refractory area, not too much, but just a little bit. And I was in the numerical simulation group. I am still in this numerical simulation group by now, but at the RHI Magnesita now. So I am a development engineer since August, before I was an intern. So I've been working with refractories since 2012. I took a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering at the Federal University of Minas Gerais. Here is the picture of the School of Engineering of my university. And I have a specialization in the structural analysis using finite elements method, FEM actually. Basically, this specialization here is learn how to use ANSYS. I took a 2 years course about this. This institute here, actually ESSS, is the ANSYS representative in South America. So they give courses and they sell software. So I took this 2 years course, this specialization. And my master thesis is also from the Federal University of Minas Gerais. And I worked with numerical modeling of refractories, trying to consider damage effects. I was using smeared cracking models. It was the first attempt to use this kind of models to see if it works. Actually, I did not make any experimentation. It was just a numerical work to see how difficult it is to do that, and it is difficult. I worked with the sliding gate plates, trying to predict the damage. This here is damage. I see a crack, like a cracking, smeared crackings initiating in this area here. And I used this software called INSANE, which stands for Interactive Structural Analysis Environment. It's an open source code where we develop a lot of tools in my university, but as I said, it's open source and one can use it. It's not very, let's say, efficient, computationally speaking, but you pretty much can learn how to perform numerical simulations and how to implement fair codes. This is valuable because you actually learn the finite elements from inside, let's say like this. It was a great experience for me. Now, about my thesis, I have divided it in 4 big parts, and I'll try to speak about them now. The first part, and it's the DIC, and this picture here is from Pope. And Robert already spoke about this before, and I believe we read the same paper from Paul, because I would say exactly what you said. We have some challenges. High temperature measurements, of course, is a challenge. we have low strains. We need to have accuracy, enough accuracy to make some representative results. And we need a robust experimental setup and post-processing. But if you do that, you can have full field measurements, good for numerical simulation comparison. Yes, that's it. Of course, other benefits too, but I'm focusing here in my thesis specifically. Second part is the inverse identification. This picture here is from Camille from Orléans. I suppose that I will work with something like this in the future. The challenge is to have the possibility to make many constitutive variables depending on the model. So the inverse identification gets difficult because if you have a lot of parameters, you should do a lot of optimization loops to have a good algorithm, and this is not always the case. It can be difficult, in my opinion. But if you do that, you can make less physical tests to have the parameters that you need for modeling. So that's the point of the inverse identification. After that, and after all, my thesis is about creep. So a big part of my thesis is the creep. So again, this picture here is from the open, and this here is from Henrique's thesis. Just examples of creep models, not exactly the model, but some pictures showing creep, let's say like this. There is a challenge of selecting the most suitable models, maybe like developing models. Creep is difficult because we have the variation of the material's behavior with the temperature and with the load. So we need to make a lot of tests. So this can be a challenge because of time, costs, and etc. There is a challenge also to implement. There is the possibility to implement models in fair codes like Abacus or ANSYS. I don't know. It's pretty much the same. I used to say that somebody copied somebody because the structure of the software is pretty much identical, so it makes no difference. But the benefit is the application of these models to practical cases like the stiletto in this specific case here. And the last part, as I said before, let me come back, there is the possibility to implement models in fair codes. I'm quite sure I'll finally do this. This is the last part, let's say like this, of my thesis. Because if you have a commercial software and Fortran, you basically have freedom because it doesn't depend on the software itself. You don't have to wait for Dassault to implement a model as the software for you. You can do it yourself. Even though sometimes you have a code with 5,000 lines of that you can learn how to do things, but that's a PhD. So. The challenge is to understand fully finite elements. Sometimes we push some buttons, but we don't know what's going on. But to implement the model, you need to actually understand what is going on. Thermodynamics, I've been doing this as Henrique said, and this is difficult, I can assure you. And the model itself, because when you use a model, it's very different to implement the model. To implement the model, you need to have a full understanding of it. So otherwise, you can do not so good stuff. And the codes are complex, and the language is Fortran. This is an disadvantage, but it is what it is. It cannot be changed. Not easily, at least, so we need to do it. And the benefits are the independency and full control of the model. For example, Drucker-Prager model in Abacus, it has limitations. Let's say Drucker-Prager cap, it's a model I've been using. I know that, for example, you cannot harden the Drucker-Prager surface, just the cap. But if you implement the model, maybe you can do it. So you have the full control in this sense. But it's not easy. You need to think about it. Just implement if you don't have an equivalent at the commercial software. Otherwise, don't do this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?